In the extremes of our world, where temperatures can plunge to deadly lows or rise to blistering heights, life still finds a way. Today, we're exploring some of nature's true survivors, those remarkable creatures that thrive in the harshest environments on Earth. And we'll also take a look at how humans have managed to endure these extremes, drawing from our history and the science of survival. Let's start with the cold. Imagine the Arctic, where winter temperatures can drop below -50 degrees Celsius, -58 degrees Fahrenheit. For most life forms, this kind of cold would be fatal, but not for the polar bear. Polar bears are the kings of the Arctic, perfectly adapted to their icy environment. Their thick fur and a layer of fat provide insulation against the extreme cold, and their black skin absorbs heat from the sun. But it's not just their physical adaptations that make them incredible survivors. Polar bears are also highly skilled hunters, able to track seals across vast distances of ice and snow, ensuring they get the high-fat diet they need to maintain their energy in such a harsh climate. Now let's travel even further north to the tundra, where we find another cold-weather champion, the Arctic fox. This small but resilient predator is known for its stunning white fur, which not only provides excellent camouflage against the snow, but also offers superb insulation. The Arctic fox's fur is so thick that it covers even its paws, which helps to minimize heat loss. When food is scarce, the Arctic fox can survive by scavenging on leftovers from larger predators like polar bears. It's a true testament to the fox's adaptability that it can survive and even thrive in such an unforgiving environment. But extreme cold isn't only found in the Arctic. Let's head to the highest point on Earth, the summit of Mount Everest. Here, temperatures can drop to -60 degrees Celsius, -76 degrees Fahrenheit, or even lower. Despite these deadly conditions, a few resilient species still manage to eke out an existence. One of the most remarkable is the Himalayan jumping spider, the highest living permanent resident on Earth. These tiny spiders have been found as high as 22,000 feet, 6,700 meters, above sea level, where they survive by feeding on insects that are blown up the mountain by the wind. It's incredible to think that such a small creature can survive in a place where oxygen is scarce and temperatures are so brutally cold. Now let's shift gears and explore the other extreme, the heat. Imagine the Sahara Desert, where daytime temperatures can soar above 50 degrees Celsius, 122 degrees Fahrenheit. For most animals, this would be unbearable, but not for the camel. Camels are the ultimate desert survivors, perfectly adapted to life in the world's hottest places. Their thick fur helps to insulate them from the heat, while their large, flat feet prevent them from sinking into the hot sand. Camels can also go for long periods without water, thanks to their ability to store fat in their humps, which can be converted into water and energy when needed. Another desert survivor is the fennec fox, the smallest of all foxes. The fennec fox is perfectly adapted to the extreme heat of the Sahara. Its large ears help to dissipate heat, while its pale coat reflects the sun's rays, keeping it cool during the day. The fennec fox also has the remarkable ability to go without water for long periods, getting most of its moisture from the food it eats. This little fox is a true survivor, thriving in one of the most extreme environments on Earth. But it's not just animals that have learned to survive extreme heat. Plants, too, have developed incredible adaptations. Take the cactus, for example. Cacti are masters of water conservation, storing water in their thick, fleshy stems and minimizing water loss through their spines, which are actually modified leaves. This allows them to survive in deserts where rain may not fall for months or even years. Now, you might be wondering, what about humans? How do we fare in these extreme conditions? Let's start with the cold. Humans, unlike polar bears or Arctic foxes, don't have thick fur or layers of fat to protect us from the cold. But we have something even more powerful: our ability to adapt. Throughout history, humans have developed a variety of strategies to survive in extreme cold. Indigenous peoples of the Arctic, such as the Inuit, have traditionally relied on specialized clothing made from animal skins and furs to keep warm. They've also developed unique methods of hunting and building shelters, such as igloos, which are remarkably effective at trapping heat. Modern science has also played a role in helping humans survive extreme cold. For example, mountaineers attempting to climb Everest rely on advanced gear, including insulated clothing and oxygen tanks to protect them from the cold and thin air. There are also accounts of miraculous survival stories, like that of Anna Bagenholm, a Swedish radiologist who survived being trapped under ice in freezing water for 80 minutes. Her body temperature dropped to a record low of 13.7 degrees Celsius, 56.7 degrees Fahrenheit. But with the help of modern medical techniques, she was revived and made a full recovery. Stories like these remind us of the incredible resilience of the human body. And what about extreme heat? Humans have been living in some of the hottest places on Earth for thousands of years. In places like the Sahara, people have developed ways to stay cool, such as wearing loose, light-colored clothing that reflects the sun's rays and living in homes with thick walls that keep out the heat. In modern times, technology has provided us with air conditioning and other innovations that allow us to live comfortably in even the hottest climates. However, extreme heat can still be deadly, especially during heat waves. In 2003, Europe experienced one of the worst heat waves in recorded history, which claimed the lives of an estimated 70,000 people. This tragic event highlighted the importance of staying hydrated, finding ways to cool down, and checking on vulnerable populations during extreme heat. So, what can we learn from these incredible survivors, both animals and humans? First, survival in extreme environments requires adaptation. Whether it's the physical adaptations of animals like polar bears and camels or the cultural and technological adaptations of humans, the ability to change and innovate is key to surviving and thriving in harsh conditions. Second, the natural world is full of inspiration. By studying the adaptations of animals and plants that live in extreme conditions, we can develop new technologies and strategies to help us cope with our own environmental challenges. From bio-inspired materials that mimic the insulation of Arctic animals to water-saving techniques that take cues from desert plants, there's a lot we can learn from nature's true survivors. Finally, these stories of survival remind us of the resilience of life. Even in the most extreme conditions, life finds a way to endure. And as we continue to face challenges such as climate change and environmental degradation, the lessons we learn from these survivors will be more important than ever. So the next time you find yourself in the cold of winter or the heat of summer, remember that you're in good company. Whether it's a polar bear in the Arctic or a camel in the Sahara, nature's survivors are all around us, showing us what it takes to live in a world of extremes.